My name is Erica Lorraine Spencer, and I remain subject to state surveillance and terrorism by the state of California that is operating a malicious targeting system, which is referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices. And it is in violation of federal stalking statute 18 U.S.C. sections 2261A subsections 1 and 2. My website and podcast serve the public good by publishing evidence of the public entity's ceaseless engagement in a pattern of conduct intended to stalk and monitor via communication devices, surveil, harass, and terrorize an American citizen in concert with the people of the state of California. Documentation serves the lawful purposes of wide exposure, federal prosecution, and influencing federal legislation with policies specifically designed to punish, dismantle, and disincentivize an unprecedented targeting system by a public entity that acts in concert with the people of the state in order to criminally place under surveillance and terrorize an American citizen, which is a matter of public corruption in the state of California. Notice: intellectual property theft is particularly egregious and equally unlawful where the sole inventor and creator of the intellectual property is the targeted individual. Erica Lorraine Spencer, subject to the unconstitutional and inhumane government system of gang stalking, otherwise referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices, because of which the intellectual property created by the targeted individual, who is, in fact, Erica Lorraine Spencer, as the intellectual property also proves, serves to establish via evidence and expose the existence of criminal surveillance and thus an inherent threat posed by the U.S. government and the civilian population sharing engagement in the unlawful system. Such evidence, that includes all of the content created by Erica Lorraine Spencer, images, videos, audio, etc., belongs solely and entirely to Erica Lorraine Spencer only and is necessarily published online in order to protect her life, safety, and liberty as the targeted individual, who is also the intellectual property owner, no less protected from theft procured through targeting by a public entity. Theft of any intellectual property belonging to Erica Lorraine Spencer, which is necessarily committed while she, being both creator and inventor, remains oppressed by the public entity via criminal surveillance, is a criminal and inhumane means of infringement under all circumstances and not protected nor enforceable pursuant to any invalid or fraudulent acts of copyright, trademarks, patents, etc., including as it pertains to any ideas associated with or generated from the intellectual property or the intellectual property owner, Erica Lorraine Spencer, whether creative, business, or otherwise, nor does the intellectual property owner consent to any such means of infringement and theft. It is Thursday, July 3rd, 2025, and the pattern of conduct is documented in images you'll see at the TABOR professional building where the fake moon is over me and the entity is stalking. You'll see the fake sun is over me at that same location in the morning, and it's also there in that location where I'm already at this Starbucks, the Starbucks where the demons are admitting also that they are engaging in surveillance because they don't greet me when I come inside of the cafe, which I think is so funny, while they're monitoring me. I think that's also funny. But the fake sun's not in alignment to the cafe. It's in alignment to me at the TABOR professional building. And it's in alignment as I walk to the cafe, and that's Starbucks, 507 North Euclid Avenue. The entity is engaged in this. Remember what Corey Watson is doing at 6:33 a.m. The fake sun is already here. By here, it's here because I am here. Oh, good morning. How are you? I'm good. I said good morning, but I guess you guys are busy.
No, you're good. What can I answer?
Just a cup of ice, please, actually, right now. Can I get a grande size of ice? Thank you. That'll be it.
All right.
Thank you. So you'll recall my documentation of the fake sun at around 6:17 a.m., shining that light source on me when I'm seated inside of the cafe. I sure have, Vivian. Thank you. She knows that that's audible activity. The entity is engaging in what is keeping the fake sun. This is how you have a fake sun over you in Los Angeles, because you're not just comparing them on the common sense level of what just happened yesterday. You're clearly stalking under a fake sun. the whole businesses. But the entity is doing so under a fake sun that's nowhere in Los Angeles either. And that's a comprehensive prosecution of everyone. All right, the entity is engaging in the P.O.C. Running in, cutting off my path is license 8WHM563. That's a Latina female. And what is the guise is running in, monitoring under the fake sun in engineer light, and doing so while purchasing a drink. Starbucks' business is built into the pattern of conduct. License 9CFW254. Oopsie. And license 07335. Oh, I can't get the rest of that. Let me go get it. It's a white van. The people of the state are sitting in engineer light, impossible light that's on the wall, creates light activity while they walk into it. Engineer light that's on the wall in the same manner that it is 12 hours from now after 7 p.m. If you've seen my documentation at the same venue where the sun in a natural environment is never going to be present, and the sun doesn't even have anything to do with this impossible light that's on the walls on the inside of the cafe. It's happening just in the middle of the shade, light just manifesting out of nowhere. 07335R3. It's called stalking with light. It's the significance of this engineer light where you're monitoring. You're maintaining presence in it, you're maintaining noise in it, you're maintaining movement in it, you're even molesting that person with it that you're monitoring. It's currently 6:50 a.m. and this is the entity that's stalking with the fake sun, and where the entity is stalking with that specific environment, that's where the establishment is stalking. All right, it's a prosecution of the logo, the business, Starbucks, and it's a prosecution of the people of the state working at that venue, maliciously engaging in the state's pattern of conduct, hence public corruption. It is not June, it's July 3rd, 2025. So that is, again, Amelia, Patty, Saul, and Vivian. And the third party whose license plate is, again, let me recite his license plate since he has a disdain for telling his name on his name tag. This third party's license plate, 8UQJ918, and he's engaged in monitoring here with the entity as well as an employee. These are the third parties that are maliciously engaging in the use of a business to engage in criminal monitoring in violation of Title 18, Section 2261A, subsections 1 and 4. All right, they're engaging in the sex offense. They're also violating sex laws while they're engaging in the pattern of conduct with the state. They're engaging in not just federal stalking, there's many laws that the entity is violating. I have honed in on federal stalking because it is big picture analysis regarding what the state of California, what the U.S. government is doing, what the civilian population is doing, which is unconstitutional because the entity is engaging in what is criminal monitoring, and the government has no legitimate basis to do it at all directly as any government body, not even the police, and neither does the entity that is acting with the people of the state. That doesn't even exist at all. Like the people of the state, the civilian population, there's no basis for them to engage in surveillance. They're stalking. They're outright stalking. And they're doing it, and it's sponsored by the state. This is irrelevant to, again, laws that the entity is violating while they're engaging in, through the business of Starbucks, federal group stalking and monitoring. There are multiple bases for RICO prosecution of Starbucks, the corporation, okay? And also the entities engaging in what is recognizing the entity's affinity for obstruction of justice and for engaging in what is harassment and domestic terrorism, even as they are engaging in surveillance and are aware that they're being documented, okay? The entities engaging in very demented and depraved, like they're degenerates, obviously they're demons. They spend all night, the entities spend all night stalking and monitoring, including through the city of Ontario, and it's not pausing. So you're witnessing on an ongoing basis how that same entity is gang stalking inside of any location. This just so happens to be called Starbucks. Okay, Starbucks is synonymous with surveillance. Starbucks is synonymous with demons, demonic. Criminal surveillance. Starbucks is synonymous with gang stalking, okay? It's currently 6:53 a.m. This is P.O.C. at 507 North Euclid Avenue, where you will see documentation uploaded to the Google Drive of the fake sun right over in alignment to me at the TABOR Professional Building, which is not in alignment at the Starbucks cafe where I've already documented it, but it's not going to be under any circumstances in a natural environment. This is showing the pattern of conduct of stalking with a specific environment that is designed to monitor, keep a person under surveillance as you observe the environment, because the sun would never be an alignment in the natural environment here at Starbucks. This just happens to be where I'm at, and the demons who are stalking, they follow me. I'm the leader. And so I lead them right into being caught and fully exposed for everyone to obviously be able to recognize it. You don't have to squint your eyes, you don't have to think hard and go back in. You can clearly see that the entity is stalking under a fake sun. And it's doing so because common sense, a year ago, same day, same time of year, LAPD is stalking under a fake sun that it never left from Alvarado Gardens unless I went to Chase Bank, which I documented. And the entity's flying over my bank in circles, exhibiting severe mental illness, the same mental illness that the Ontario Police Department suffer from, demon possession. Demons who are obsessed and at the same time hostile because they are being documented, and so are the people of the state. Those are demons as well. So these demons share in animosity, they share in aggression, they share in hostility. It's the same demonic spirit operating in a group of people that are group stalking. There's no sun that's ever going to be in alignment on this street in Euclid Avenue based on the ASIN entity that I documented in Los Angeles. Okay, the entity maintained a fake sun in LA, so that's necessarily more than one sun if you've got one at any time of day at Starbucks, like I'm documenting on a systematic basis. And they're all working in it. They're coming in and being patrons in it. They're gang stalking wearing police uniforms in it, fire department uniforms in it. They're gang stalking with commercial airline planes in it, and they're doing so as a whole population in all the businesses that are gang stalking. Okay, the City of Ontario is engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring. It's currently 6:55 a.m. This is P.O.C. License 7UKR 145. All right, the mental health patient, she goes by the name of Patty. You've seen her exhibiting her mental illness on video under the fake sun, stalking me as an employee of a facilitating venue with the City of Ontario that's stalking me with her using commercial airline planes right now. There's no terminals where you're hovering over 325 West G Street, which is farther away than Starbucks is from the airport. That's also how you know that Patty is a mental health patient who is stalking. The moment that I get up, this is how you're stalking inside of a building where you're surrounded by the engineered light and the rest of the demons who are all stalking in the path as well. The moment that I get up from my seat, Patty, that is monitoring me and not focusing on coffee drinks. Her coffee drink preparation is based on my movements as well, while she uses it as a means of stalking with activity. And you've already seen her stalking with light, while that which is not sunlight would never shoot into the inside of any building. As you open and close the door, none of that is naturally ever happening, and neither is her behavior natural. As I get up from the seat, where you'll see my shadow of my hand beneath the table, you'll see the shadow of my hand above the table. Also how you know that Patty is stalking me. The same time that I get up, simultaneity to what it is that I do, this demon that comes from behind the wall where Starbucks employees are behind that area, she's walking out and she begins to do something. Of course, they're not just going to walk out and just be like, hey, like they're acknowledging you. She's walking out to cross path to track my steps as I'm walking toward the bathroom where they're all monitoring my vagina as well. And by the way, Starbucks' closure of the women's restroom is an act of harassment where they're still monitoring in the bathroom. 7EMS 183. And they're doing that pursuant to knowledge of my documentation of their sexual violence, of Starbucks' sexual violence. They are still monitoring in the bathroom, no matter what restroom it is. In addition, the entity is doing the closure of the women's restroom, which is relevant to what it is that I documented about bathroom monitoring at this venue. And moreover, where they're closing down the women's restroom and you're using the men's restroom, you have males, because they're not men, that are walking into the restroom that you're using, monitoring. And what they're doing in the women's restroom, when I'm in the women's restroom, they're walking into relevant positioning in the male restroom in order to monitor my vagina in the same way. So now it's the provision for males to walk into the male restroom and monitor my vagina, engaging in the elements of monitoring. It's an act of retaliation and harassment pursuant to federal stalking that Starbucks is engaging in while they're stalking like Patty very severely. There are people, these are all demon-possessed people, but there are people that have varying levels of aggressive demons on them. Patty has a particularly aggressive demon. okay? And it's shown through her stalking conduct and her stalking with light conduct. It's currently 7:22 a.m. Just want to document that. This is P.O.C. All right, the evidence of a population being a sex offender is the fake sun in alignment to my position at the restroom, where monitoring is underway in a restroom, which is a sex offense, a serious sex offense, a whole population that's monitoring you and is engaging in surveillance in a bathroom while you're engaged in private activity, which is not private, and that's again relevant to the laws that the Starbucks is in violation of while they're engaged in criminal monitoring and including the business of Starbucks itself. It is a sex offender. It is currently 7:24 a.m. You'll see the images uploaded of what is the fake sun that's in perfect alignment with my person as I move inside of the cafe, and that's also as I move toward what is the restroom, where the evidence of surveillance is underway as you understand and analyze that gang stalking system in a specific environment which is entirely demonic, and it's also impossible to naturally be the case where a bunch of demons are keeping one person under surveillance. Okay, and this is where demons are pacing in and out of that bathroom, stalking me. It is currently 7:25 a.m. And the entity is at 507 North Euclid Avenue, maintaining a fake sun, and I'm documenting 12 hours from now the fake sun is still here over the same building that I'm inside of right now. And this is just an untenable, just an implausible, unprecedented level of ignorance as well, while an entity engaged in the pattern of conduct against myself and did so, again, surmising that they were going to silence me, get rid of me, kidnap me. I'm going to be kept in a facility where no one's going to listen to me, no one's ever going to believe me because I'm an addict, because I'm mentally ill, because I'm a criminal. This is everything that the entity has engaged in against me, and they're going to be prosecuted for that. The entities, and it's also exposure of the system, which the U.S. government is doing against American citizens in this country. This is what Jason Isaac Fields and Tracy Banks sought to capitalize on. And while you're witnessing the severe mental illness, which is caused by, it's rooted in demon possession of the people of the state, you are being confronted with your witnessing up close and personal the mental illness of Jason Isaac Fields and the mental illness of Tracy Banks, these two demons that are maintaining a fraudulent marriage, a secret fraudulent marriage, and also a fake conservatorship, which are criminal acts by the entity that is also gang stalking. You're witnessing up close and personal the mental illness of this psychopath Tracy Banks, as I documented her up close and personal, but as I document a population, they share the condition. These are demons, and so is Jason Isaac Fields, and so is Tracy Banks, and they are both gang stalking and monitoring me to date in the same way that I'm documenting the people of the state, stalkers like Patty. All right, that's criminal conduct that Jason Fields is going to prison for. You're not going to engage in domestic terrorism and psychological torture of any American citizen and remain outside of federal prison. But Jason Isaac Fields has done more than just gang stalk me, and he's going to prison for all of that. He remains a threat to himself. He remains a threat to children. He's a threat to women while he's engaged in this sex offense of gang stalking me, seeking to murder and kidnap me and steal from me in furtherance of that crime. And it's an act of terrorism that he's doing so in concert with the state of California. All right, it is currently 7:27 a.m. This is P.O.C. All right, Starbucks engaging in Title 18, getting into position, which they're doing by going in and out of the bathroom, where they're stalking at that, and then going back to prepare drinks and food for gang stalking. Nonetheless, they are gang stalking as well, but the people of the state. This is just getting to the nastiness of the company itself, and it's also nasty when they're engaging in stalking and / coffee preparation at the same time. But going into position behind me into the restroom that's relevant for the fake sun is at, they're stalking, and they're doing so with knowledge of what I'm doing on my communication device, which is psychopathic. These are not normal people. So you're aware of the light activity. My hand is appearing underneath the table. My hand's appearing above the table. That's called light activity. Their shadows are appearing into the depths as they walk by me, which is stalking. Just like driving by, that's stalking. Just like flying over and flying by and flying around, that's stalking in that specific environment where the entity is engaging in surveillance. Doing so on the inside of a building is what you're seeing the Starbucks employees engage in with the patrons. patrons. And all the demons do is one body after another. If I clear out my cookies and clear out everything and restart my phone, a demon is getting in position to make sure that they're present as I log on to Wi-Fi, as I upload whatever it is that I'm doing. They are stalking as one entity, and that's also how you're able to recognize on the physical level demon possession. All right, they're engaging in the same exact thing, maintaining the same uniform knowledge about what I'm doing on my phone while demons are monitoring. Okay, it's currently 7:32 a.m. Again, that third party is working for Starbucks, engaging in Title 18 federal stalking, and also generally nasty hygiene practices, frequenting the bathroom in order to stalk another person. Again, this license plate, this third party who's engaging in the elements of monitoring by going into the bathroom. Remember, this is a crime scene, so it's not ordinary bathroom practices. This is under the fake sun. You're engaging in criminal conduct that the entity never thought was going to be exposed. And even while it's exposed, you're witnessing mental illness because they're engaging in criminal conduct. You might as well be inside or right in front of the feds engaging in the crime, because that's what they're doing. They're doing it right in front of the feds. And I don't mean the feds that are gang stalking, the feds that are going to be exposed for gang stalking me, trying to murder me, trying to get rid of me. Because you will witness justice. All right, this demon's license plate is again license. Let's see. It's the 8UQJ, but let me read it again. Over and over and over again while he's monitoring me on a ceaseless basis. We're going to put his information on the internet over and over and over again so that everybody knows who this demon is. And you're going to know who he is because he's going to have a criminal record as a sex offender. Let's see. Oh, I know why. Apologies. It's currently, by the way, 7:34 a.m. This third-party employee is license 8UQJ918. He's crossing path in engineered light that's on the opposite side of the cafe and possible light activity. Sunlight, that is a product of the sun, that is outside of the building, does not cause sunlight to appear inside of the building and create multiple shadows or just create light manifesting out of nowhere. It's not even like streaming from the sun, and the sun doesn't shoot horizontally into buildings that are beneath it. We're not adjacent to the sun. We're all underneath the sun. And the sun also doesn't sit at one address for 12 hours. The sun doesn't cause like an arcade environment where everything in there is shooting light, shooting light. These demons are in a circus environment, and they're engaging in stalking in bathrooms. And this is the business of Starbucks that's engaging in monitoring me. The corporation is engaged in federal stalking. The employees are engaged in federal stalking. All right, it's currently, and pursuant to uniform knowledge, they're all doing what they're doing pursuant to knowledge of what I'm doing on my communication device, and the specific environment proves that as well. All right, it's currently, again, 7:35 a.m. This is P.O.C. at 507 North Euclid Avenue, Starbucks. All right, Starbucks engaging in gang stalking with the people of the state that are entering into the venue, gang stalking together in that specific environment, which is not only obvious, but it is entirely impossible to naturally occur, meaning you're intentionally engaging in this system of monitoring, which is supposed to be covert and secret and so elite. It's not at all. It's actually very asinine and unscientific, idiotic, unintelligent. And the entity is gang stalking through the people of the state that are engaging in surveillance. This is ambush conduct that the demon-possessed engage in. You'll see Kyle, that's his name, stalking at the table in front of me in engineered light. Doing so, he takes a seat under the fake sun, engaging in surveillance as I pull out my MacBook. And that's what you'll see me pointing to, because that's where this demon is engaging in what is getting in closer proximity, because they're already close. Everybody in the building is in relevant position. He takes a seat as I pull up my laptop, which is relevant to operation of a device. You'll see the fake sun. You'll see the multiple shadows of my hand. You'll see the shadow of my person on the seat. This is on the far inside of a building where there's no shadows that are the result of sunlight that's shooting underneath the covered structure horizontally, creating upright shadows. This is where Kyle is engaging in gang stalking me and maintaining knowledge about what I'm doing, focusing on me, which is what the specific environment tells you. A bunch of psychopaths that are passive aggressive, of sex offenders monitoring my genitalia, stalking me and monitoring my every movement are doing so, and the evidence of it is the fake sun and the engineer light that they're in. You also see the engineer light that's on the sidewalk outside while they're walking into the venue and then purchasing, picking up drinks. Starbucks employees are gang stalking, monitoring me while they prepare it, sell it, take the orders. Everything is built into the pattern of conduct of what Starbucks, the corporation, is engaging in. And it's also happening in the specific environment, which is sufficient to prosecute a business for criminal monitoring. The third-party license plate include 9NQZ959 and license 7UTA642. It's 7:56 a.m. This is P.O.C. All right, ongoing amplified noise while Ocean, Amelia, Patty, Saul, Vivian, and the rest of the demons that are monitoring as employees at the venue under the fake sun and an engineered light that you can also see growing inside of the cafe. So I took images of it. You'll see it. It starts in the depths of the cafe on the seats, and then it's growing across the floor where the people that stayed are walking in it. They're monitoring. They're doing so pursuant to uniform knowledge about what I'm doing on my devices, such as preparing to turn on my laptop and having a seat next to me, such as clearing out my cookies in order to restart my phone and log on to the Starbucks Wi-Fi and going into the bathroom, remaining present in the bathroom. This isn't about a relieval of them, so this is a pattern of stalking in the path is what the entity is doing in this specific environment. So that's understanding the context. Coming in repeatedly, one demon after another with the impossible light that I've documented, which is never resulting from opening and closing a door. A rubber-bound door, a glass door. The entity is engaging in stalking with light while they're engaging in what is amplified booming. That booming is happening where I'm located, which is where the fake sun is located and where this engineer light is located. Okay, it's currently, again, 8:04 a.m. And again, the quote-unquote store manager, she's a demon-possessed gang stalking sex offender and is engaging in what is criminal monitoring. You'll see her crossing path on camera, and she's doing so under the fake sun. She's gang stalking me just like LAPD is gang stalking me under a fake sun that she at work at 507 North Euclid Avenue cannot share presence in a natural environment, revealing the fact that she is targeting on the job, which is a basis of federal prison, by the way, because she's doing it systematically, and she's also facilitating it as a terrorist leader of a third-party establishment that's engaging in stalking me. All right. It is currently 8:05 a.m. This is where the Ontario International Airport is also taking off in commercial planes. For example, as I was documenting on my podcast, Patty's stalking conduct, as I move inside of the venue, this demon moves. Ooh, that's very disturbing conduct to witness what the demon possessed are doing. But nonetheless, this is where the Ontario International Airport is hovering like they're taking off. And there's no takeoff. That's why I say like taking off, because they're literally hovering over the San Bernardino Housing Authority, which is on Lemon, and then as though they're rising off an elevation over the Arco at 434 North Euclid Avenue. And there's no such takeoff from the terminal. And they're progressively migrating as I migrate. I'm not at the OVITT Family Community Library, and that's why they are much more north of the OVITT Family Community Library and much more north from the Ontario International Airport at 2500 Airport Drive, 2900 Airport Drive, where those two terminals are. It's also relevant to where the demons inside of Starbucks are stalking with amplified noise. And this is, again, the highly disruptive and chaotic environment of the gang stalkers Starbucks, who are engaging in, I guess, such heavy-duty stalking inside of their little storage area that they're beating on the walls, because that's what it sounds like, creating what is audible activity under the fake sun and engineered light. This is what the old people are doing at Woodside Senior Apartments. All right, this is what the LAPD is doing with helicopters and the people of the state that are stalking at that venue of Alvarado Gardens, where the entity is, again, maintaining what is, this is what's so providential, if you will, about the documentation prosecuting the entity, because you're looking at the big picture when you're documenting, you're looking at the body of evidence. But with regard to the stalkers, they're following on a minute-by-minute basis, and they are necessarily focusing on the here and now, and that is you are automatically at a loss because you're not able to maintain consistency with what is naturally occurring and maintaining not even a tenable position of being anything other than a demon-possessed gang stalker as an entity, a sick people who are engaging in what is no longer a secret system, and it's an unintelligent system, okay, because it's relying on stalking somebody else, and that somebody else is a federal prosecutor who knows what you're doing, and I'm leading you right into a trap because you can't maintain a specific environment. They're necessarily stalking under a fake sun and a highly unintelligent identification of a crime scene. There's no wondering where's the crime occurring because it's right under the fake sun. That's not sharing any natural environment with the what LAPD is doing at Alvarado Gardens, for example. The entity is engaging in this through Starbucks, who are the same light activity that you see opening both doors of the venue, stalking with light and doing so. Engineer lights on the sidewalk outside, engineer lights flat on the inside of the cafe, where they're all walking and ordering drinks, monitoring simultaneously, which is relevant to the RICO case against Starbucks, a corporation, the third party that's engaged in state surveillance. It is currently 8:08 a.m. This is P.O.C. The entity is engaging in what is harassment, it's domestic terrorism, it's psychological torture, it's pursuant to real-time knowledge about being documented since they're monitoring their own federal prosecutor. And they're also engaging in the perpetual sex offense. While you're stalking under the fake sun, you're admittedly a sex offender, an egregiously violent sex offender who is obsessively stalking me. It is currently 8:08 a.m. again. This is P.O.C. All right, it is currently 8:18 a.m. All right, the following represent the people of the state, documenting a bunch of psychopaths, pasting in all the evidence that's going to be used to prosecute them. It is license plate 8NJM845, engaging in terrorism with a smile, a grin from ear to ear, which is the typical behavior of psychopaths that are engaging in the gang stalking system. These are the demon-possessed that are engaging in that mental health, that behavioral health concern, engaging in terrorism while maintaining what's supposed to be the outward demeanor of strangers who are not thinking about you, don't know you, don't have any relation to you, don't address you, and all manner of the evidence and the venue and the maintenance of that venue is speaking to the exact opposite. This is psychopathic, and this is the entity that's engaging in this pattern of conduct. It's directly relevant to behavioral health concerns. All right, these are the this is the entity that's engaging in and is capable of engaging in the acts of violence against multitudes of people. This is psychological torture. This is also relevant to domestic terrorism as a population is targeting an American citizen, gang stalking them. It is, let me see, license plate 9RKZ991. And you will also see on the sidewalk outside and the cafe on the inside impossible light activity while the fake sun is over, and that's how you have the impossible maintenance of sunlight on the inside of the cafe while they're all walking in it, monitoring and doing so, and obsessively concerned with me, not coffee preparation, not purchasing coffee, not sitting around studying, talking on the phones. They're monitoring, and these are demons who are very much unhinged, and that's what the entity seeks to conceal. That's not concealed. I'm giving an ongoing tutorial regarding the malice that the demon-possessed, they fail at concealing. When you're looking at what they're doing outside of the TABOR professional building, when they're stalking me as I leave the OVITT Family Community Library at night, they represent the same entity. They're engaging in that. It's all enveloped within the P.O.C. that's occurring right now inside of Starbucks. It's the same entity. These are maniacal psychopaths, all right? Maintaining what they deem to be the appropriate outward demeanor and appearance, how you're supposed to look, how you're expected to look and behave and act like when you are being documented, which, again, a smile on your face or tears on your face, you're going to be prosecuted for gang stalking. The entity is engaging in what is always relying on the superficial veneer of the thing, and it looks like on the surface of the thing, it looks like everybody's gang stalking, okay? The entity has no legitimacy. They're under a fake sun, and they're an engineered light that's both on the inside of the cafe to the inside of the wall. They're sitting and walking in it, they're monitoring, and it's also on the sidewalk outside. That's what you'll see as I walk in it and show you what they're all doing while they're monitoring. I'll show you what Chevron is doing while a utility truck is creating flashing lights, show you what they're doing when they're walking into both entrances, and engineer light coexists with their entering into the venue, monitoring me, okay? This is P.O.C. It's currently 8:22 a.m. This is P.O.C. at 507 North Euclid Avenue. All right, 8:26 a.m., stalking with light. That is not only stationary that you see on the floor, and it's actually not stationary. It's engaged in an ongoing progressive movement, growth, and then hours later it's moving. So it's starting on the seats in the depths of the building, and then it's growing, going in the direction east to reach the wall, and then hours later it continues shortening in the direction east until it's eventually gone, meaning it gets shorter and shorter when it gets closer to the window. This is all you're doing is documenting that, as you'll see what the entity is doing with light. It's absurd. All you have to do is pay attention to it, in other words. So I'm just showing you what the entity does with light, which is relevant to surveillance. The entity is engaging in what is stalking with light, having light while psychopaths that are monitoring you. This is, again, the mental illness, while they're stalking with light. Doing so while engaging in surveillance inside of the Starbucks. Surrounding me, stalking, monitoring my every movement, keeping a straight face, not talking to you, not addressing you, and the engineered light is moving all across the seats around me while the demons are witnessing my documentation as well. It's currently 8:27 a.m. This is what Ocean is engaging in. Saul, Amelia, the third-party license. Let me get his license again. They are all together targeting as well with as one entity while the entity is stalking with light, which is documentation of domestic terrorism, including while the patrons that are purchasing from Starbucks gang stalking me and doing so are engaging in stalking with light as well with Starbucks. 8UQJ918. That's the license plate of the third party that is gang stalking. And again, this is Amelia, Patty, Saul, Vivian, and Ocean, and the third-party employee whose name I can't recall, but she's documented clearly. You'll see her crossing path, walking in the engineer light that's on the inside of the cafe, which is not sunlight. It's also not sunlight that's in the same shape form on the outside. So this is the light that's flat on the outside of the building, and the light that's flat on the inside on the floor in the building. That's not sunlight. That's called maintaining ongoing light all over the place while everybody's pacing around, monitoring, and they're all stalking together, gang stalking. These are demons doing that, and that's demonic. This impossible light activity all over the place is demonic. I want to document the entity. As you can see, the 11 videos that are merely a sample of Starbucks that is gang stalking me, maintaining stalking with light, and that's what's happening. So I want to make sure that I document that. Oh, doing it again right now. While the demons are stalking in the path inside of the cafe, Starbucks, the corporation, is being prosecuted. And if you're ignorant about what I'm referring to, you can look at the podcast from yesterday in the description box. There's an extensive list of what engineered light looks like and what is going on in that engineered environment. And it is a criminal activity that Starbucks, the corporation, and all the employees that I'm documenting are subject to it. Literally all the employees that are going to produce their own identities. This is how a federal prosecution works. But I've done my own due diligence in documenting the names of the demons gang stalking with the third parties that are engaging in surveillance, which is Starbucks providing a crime scene for the entity to engage in gang stalking me, which is what the federal prosecution for facilitation, which Starbucks is going to be liable for as well. It's 8:29 a.m. Stalking with light is ongoing. That's terrorism and psychological torture, harassment, while they're engaging in federal stalking. Title 18, Section 22618, subsection 1 and 2. All right, that's P.O.C. All right, 8:35 a.m. and this is happening. It's currently 8:36 because time keeps going, so seconds are going by. 8:35 a.m., approximately 8:34 a.m. It was literally seconds ago. The entity that is monitoring together. So on the surface, what you are looking at are patrons who are, again, seemingly disconnected, separate from the employees, but they are the same entity. They are the same condition. These are demons that are engaging in what are demonic activity pursuant to gang stalking. And so this is why you have what's happening. I'm going to describe what I'm doing on my device, and then I'm going to describe what the patron is doing in concert with the employee who is hurriedly walking into the bathroom, which is under the fake sun that's remaining on the east side of the cafe where I'm positioned, and the engineered light that they're walking in, okay? And this is a female, I believe it's Vivian. She's particularly mentally disturbed as well. She does a lot of pacing in and out of the bathroom, a lot. I documented that before. But anyway, the third party is running in and out of the bathroom, and this is occurring on my phone. I took a screenshot of it because I am, which they all are, maintaining uniform specific knowledge about what's going on my device. These are demons, and so this is just the reality. That's what I'm proving in the P.O.C. and the documentation of what is gang stalking, which is demonic activity, and it's not impervious to prosecution because it's not impervious to laws that exist in order to prosecute what is surveillance in violation of existing laws. So the entity is maintaining the specific environment, which is what the employee is walking in, monitoring out on the job, and is doing so at the same time that I'm beginning to process the podcast. And as I engage in this operation on my device, this is the same formula for the demons that are monitoring on communication devices, a violation of Title 18, and engaging in what are the elements of monitoring, gang stalking, while I am inside of the establishment documenting. That's also relevant to impunity and malice. But nonetheless, this third-party employee comes from behind the bar and is crossing path, creating light activity. And at the same time that she's running into the restroom, the third party that's seated next to me, who you can hear on the speakerphone, he's engaging in activity while they know that they're being documented. He wants to all of a sudden give me a greeting card. Hey, here you go, while they're aware that they're being documented. This is the conduct of the entity that's monitoring together while the employee is crossing path and would like to avoid being documented. Let me capture this. All right, that is indeed Vivian. She goes by Vivi, who's crossing path and hurriedly running into the restroom that is pursuant to my documentation, my processing of the podcast, and that's occurring at 8:35 a.m. And I do take a screenshot. At the same time, this third party, as I reach down into my bag for my charger. So I'm doing two things. I'm in operation of my device. Vivian is crossing path. And I'm also reaching down into my bag for my charger, and this third party is also coming toward me, crossing path and doing so. He's sitting in engineer light. And they're acting together. That's that's the bigger point. These are demons that are engaging in stalking with activity. All right, speaking to me with simultaneity to what I do is stalking with activity. Getting up and moving, even coming toward me and giving me a free cup of coffee is activity creation with simultaneity to what I am doing. Do not be distracted. Even when the demons are engaging in what is harassing you, with simultaneity to what I'm doing, it's stalking with activity, okay? This is what the entity is doing. While they are not separate, they're only separate on the surface where you're looking at an employee versus a patron. They're both demons, and they're both third parties. They represent the people of the state that are engaging in Title 18 federal stalking with the state. All right, it's currently 8:40 a.m. This is P.O.C. All right, it is currently 9:07 a.m. This is documentation on the podcast about what is captured in real time in images with regard to the psychopathic and deranged pattern of stalking with light, which the demon-possessed practice while they're engaging in what is gang stalking you. And this is what Starbucks is doing. Starbucks is doing so with the demons that are engaging in surveillance, which Starbucks welcomes, Starbucks facilitates and enables criminal monitoring by the government. That's doing so with the people of the state. And Starbucks is acting via the people of the state, Amelia, Patty, Saul, Vivian, Ocean, and the third party with, again, the license plate, who are sharing in what is a molestation, harassment, and terrorism with impossible light while they are obsessively gang stalking, obsessively monitoring me. And this is with real-time publication of the videos of this entity stalking with the Ontario Police Department last night, with the Ontario International Airport last night, being demons, stalking with light, and then as you document the psychopath that's obsessively stalking you, that psychopath engages in what you'll witness, the evidence of mental illness, stalking with light. Okay, so coming inside of the venue, that's supposed to be the explanation of what is light hitting all over my face and body, while this third party, this demon, this sex offender coming, sitting close to me, smelling like mustard, is using his device as a, this is supposed to be the outer guise of what's the cause of reflection of sunlight that's bouncing off of the surface of his phone and hitting my face repeatedly. This is as I begin documenting the videos captured at 9:03, 9:12, 9:38, 9:03, 9:12, 10:38, and 10:53 as I begin uploading that after I publish the podcast. Well, actually, I haven't published it yet, but I uploaded it. So again, these are demons that are hostile. They want to engage in what is stalking me, monitoring my vagina. They just don't want me to publish it. They're also hostile while I upload it, and they're obsessively monitoring the entire time, pacing all around me and stalking and molesting with light while I upload it, while I document it. And this mustard-smelling sex offender sits close to me in order to engage in what is a molestation. It has nothing to do with the device. It has nothing to do with the fake sun that you clearly see, the evidence of a stalker. And this is what Vivian is sharing in. This is what Ocean is sharing in. This is what the third party, again, his license plate, 8Q. Let me go ahead and read it for you clearly. This is violence that Starbucks is going to be prosecuted for as I prosecute them on the internet, proving the existence of the system and then enforcing my rights in court. 8UQJ918. And this is criminal facilitation. Starbucks is providing a crime scene for the government to engage in surveillance. That's why the fake sun's over the establishment. That's why it's not just over the establishment, but the employees are engaging in the pattern of conduct as well. So it's not innocent and distinct from, oh, at least they're not stalking with activity, or they're not stalking with light, or they're not engaging in what is harassment. They're not engaging in what is targeting through the behavioral pattern. They're directly engaging in it, and it is intentionally there for that criminal purpose, for that sexually perverted purpose, for that psychopathic purpose. This demon represents the people of the state, and Starbucks is criminally engaging in what is a molestation, a sex offense committed with impossible light that's never occurring because you're using your phone under a fake sun. This is what you'll see reflected in images again, and this demon also is offensive because he smells like mustard. All right, that's how close he was sitting next to me while a passive-aggressive psychopath is monitoring you, and that includes the employees of Starbucks at 507 North Euclid Avenue. That's again Vivian, Amelia, Saul, Patty, The third party with license plate 8UQJ918, Ocean. And the third party, you can see her image, but again, her name, I do not recall. I don't have evidence of her name, but I have evidence of her criminal presence and facilitation by way of employment at a facilitating venue. This is P.O.C. This demon is, you'll see Title 18 is what is going on as I'm uploading in the engineered light. They're sitting in it. The shadow of the bushes flat on the ground on the inside of the cafe. The shadow of the bushes flat on the ground on the outside of the cafe while they're pacing as they're stalking on the sidewalk, stalking on the roads and the highways, stalking in the sky space, and stalking inside of the cafe. It's currently 9:12 a.m. This is P.O.C. This is Starbucks, the corporation engaging in ongoing harassment, terrorism, psychological torture, and the perpetual sex offense while they're engaging in Title 18 federal stalking. This is P.O.C. Okay, it is currently 10:29 a.m. and of course the fake sun's remaining over, for example, in Los Angeles, where I'm documenting the pattern of conduct by LAPD and the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department, keeping me under surveillance, doing so with the people of the state who are living, working, being surrounding, that is stalking, as an entity under the fake sun that's in Los Angeles over me, and then also the day-to-day documentation as you're also juxtaposing what the entity is doing under a fake sun at an entirely different location like Woodside Senior Apartments. The entity's keeping the fake sun over that apartment of Tracy Banks Unit 51 from sunrise till sunset. That's not going to be over Euclid Avenue, over the gang stalker Omnitrans as they're tracking my steps, and the traffic lights are operating pursuant to what I do as I do while I'm being stalked inside of the cafe of Starbucks. The entity is engaging in what is stalking, as you'll see a series of stalkers enter into the venue, and the fake sun's no longer planted at the east side of the Starbucks cafe. It's at the west side while I go get a cup of ice from the gang stalkers working at the venue. And that's how you know that they're stalking as well. The fake sun is in alignment to me inside of that cafe, and they're doing so while they are including the business of Starbucks. And while demons who are stalking, criminally monitoring with the state under that fake sun that's at the same address, because the sun wouldn't be at the same address from 6:33 in the morning until what is 10:29 a.m. This is again the asininity and the obvious witnessing of the demon-possessed population who are engaging in criminal monitoring, targeting American citizens, and it's the U.S. government's pattern of conduct. The state of California has fully exposed the asininity of this entire system, how a bunch of unintelligent demons are stalking one person together, and that's how you're getting to what is just bare bones bullying, because they're not smart, it's not elite or sophisticated. And science is on my side. All of the facts are also on my side, and this is showing the corruption that is inherent to gang stalking amongst the population, the civilian population, and the government that's gang stalking directly, doing so in the highly unintelligent manner of the Starbucks venue of 507 North Euclid Avenue, and the Starbucks personnel who are stalking. As you see these stalkers enter into the side entrance, first of all, that's not sunlight that's going to appear underneath the patio. That's why a patio is there, because it provides for shade. You also know that it's not the sun and it's engineered light, because not only is it piercing underneath a covered structure where the sun is not beside buildings, but it's also in an entirely different location at the same time and for the duration of the day, which is how you know that it is an engineered environment for purposes of stalking while they're blocking my path, walking in one demon after another at that side entrance where Starbucks employees are gang stalking me. The entity is doing so pursuant to this series, the thousands, which becomes millions of people that are gang stalking me together as I remain at the Starbucks cafe and the demons are stalking with light. They're engaging in this ongoing terrorism together. Impossible light reaching underneath as a demon from the drive-through exits, license 7WBJ617. Gang stalking with license 8V687. Handicap, that's antithesis again, bringing the mentally incapacitated that are gang stalking, and that's relevant to, it's not relevant to the prosecution. There's no condition that's an exception to the demonic pattern of conduct. But it is relevant to the demons that should be removed, and they will be removed from the medical profession, all forms of the medical profession, while she's bringing those that are handicapped to engage in criminal activity. And that is again license GV687, handicap license. You'll see her pacing in front of me while the fake sun's at the east side of the cafe. Okay, that's how you know that she is stalking me in particular, and they're bringing the mentally ill, who are also the same, the demon-possessed are mentally ill as well. But these are physically incapacitated. You could tell they have Down syndrome or something of that sort, and they're engaging in the same exact demonic pattern, and antithesis brings them here to engage in that. 6WYL488. They're all stalking with light while they're driving out of the drive-thru, and plausible light is coming toward me underneath the shaded structure. That's how you know that they're all stalking me as well. This is the well-documented P.O.C. while a bunch of psychopaths, this is mental illness while they are stalking as a population with light. License 8LX hold on, 8LXK865, that appears to be an Asian male. The entity is engaging in the pattern of conduct, stalking you, which is proven through that environment, not through their very mentally deranged, passive-aggressive conduct of stalking you and keeping their back to you, which is what Satan does. Satan doesn't have to address you. Satan is focused on you. Satan is monitoring. Satan is monitoring through the meat suits that are surrounding me. And they're violent sex offenders because they're also monitoring my vagina. And that's also what they don't want to admit while they keep their back to me, gang stalking. All right, it's currently 10:33 a.m. where Starbucks is also gang stalking me while the demons in the drive-thru are targeting with impossible light activity under a fake sun. Doing so pursuant to audible noise under the fake sun in the city of Ontario surrounding with flashing lights. City of Ontario is already surrounded with evidence of gang stalking. That's the police department, the fire department, the airport. FedEx is gang stalking, maintaining but they're maintaining light activity. So let me show you how they're surrounding with light activity under the fake sun. All right, both the City of Ontario is engaging in what every municipality is engaging in, stalking. And FedEx is heavily documented gang stalking, not only with the City of Ontario, but with the Los Angeles Police Department as well, replete with helicopter activity. The demons of the FedEx Corporation are engaged in state surveillance. They're doing so, license 2377Z. License 23776Z3. You'll see them at the Unicare Health Care Center and the City of Ontario surrounding across the street. This is surrounding the perimeter with flashing of light. That's the demonic pattern of conduct by the demons who are gang stalking. You'll recognize that pattern while the entity is engaging what is keeping a fake sun during the day, fake moon at night. And it's an iteration of the same thing, this method of flashing lights, signage, vehicles, buildings, where the entity is maintaining the pattern of conduct by the demons that operate fire trucks. That's what the demon-possessed municipalities engage in. They're exhibiting demon possession while they use fire trucks and ambulances and police vehicles to engage in light activity. It's the same with the use of helicopters, the flashing light. Those are demons that are stalking with peculiarized light, flashing light activity in that engineered light. And so are the people of the state. The multiplicity of vehicles driving under that fake sun, they're all in engineered light. It's not sunlight. It's also not sunlight as it reaches into buildings and surrounds me on the couch that I'm sitting on inside of the Starbucks, while it swipes across the walls while you're driving a car outside of the building, while it's reaching underneath structures. And then you're supposed to think that that person that's driving a FedEx vehicle is not a demonic zombie. Okay, because that's what they are. They're not normal human beings. They're engaged in Satan, in other words, has been exposed. Satan is a spirit, and Satan is using the state of California is filled with the demon possessed, and this is the criminal activity that the demon possessed practice. The tactics with light surrounding the perimeter with flashing light, the tactics with light keeping a fake sun over establishments that are engaging in the targeting system, the tactics with light keeping engineered light inside of the venues where they're seated inside of that pattern, inside of whatever venue that I'm located in, and they're stalking with light while the environment is there for their criminal purposes, and it's entirely of Satan. All right, the entities engage in that, and this is the criminal act of the municipality. Gang stalking with the businesses, gang stalking with the utility vehicles of the city, 98PZ933. And this is how that's a demon coming out of the drive-thru. All right, so this is what Amelia, this is what Vivian, Patty, this is what the demons that are working at the Starbucks, Saul, and all of the third-party employees that are working, including Ocean. She's not some exception. She's a pitiful inclusion because there's no level of exception. You're representing what is the same exact demon possession, and all those demons are under what is a demon that's a manager at a third-party facilitating venue. And Ocean is monitoring my vagina with the City of Ontario, just like every other sex offender. And she is doing so facilitating it while she is creating the work schedule for those that are present to engage in criminal activity, including the business of Starbucks, which is relevant to a RICO charge. They don't have any constitutional right to maintain a business for the malicious purposes of a government. Where the customers are gang stalking, that's relevant for a RICO charge. 8 U.O.F. 102. Stalking with impossible light. They don't have to look at you. Demons don't have to address you, and they don't. That's supposed to be the malice. This was supposed to be the genius that creates mental illness on paper for gang stalking judges and corrupt courthouses to engage in criminal defamation, which is why Jason Isaac Fields and Tracy Banks are going to prison. All right. And they also failed in artificially engineering mental illness. I don't look like I'm mentally ill while I'm documenting the pattern of conduct. Neither does any American citizen. The mental illness of the demons that are gang stalking you, however, their mental illness is put on full display. For example, Patty, that's gang stalking with engineered light, that's shooting in like a laser while you're opening and closing the door. The absurdity of what the demons are doing while they're driving under shaded structure and lights just manifesting out of nowhere, reaching toward me. That's speaking to that demon that's obsessed with me as it's personified through impossible light activity. And then that stalker wants to keep their back to you, the back of their head to you. That's mental illness and it's psychopathic. Okay. The entity is engaging in what is very delusional behaviors. Okay. Also sexually perverted behaviors. Very violent, psychologically harmful behaviors. And their mental illness is going to cause a diagnosis and a prosecution. And that's for a very heavily documented entity. Okay? And that's the population. This is what the entity is practicing. The government is practicing demonic activity, in other words. And the government is practicing it in a manner that is not elite whatsoever. The government's engaging in thievery. The government's engaging in fraudulent behaviors. The government's engaging in what is defamation of the targeted individuals in this country. And the evidence of the P.O.C. is what proves that. And it is evidence that is useful for any American citizen, especially as a specific environment is defined and proven, because where you are in Oklahoma and Idaho, there's no natural environment where I'm showing you the one sun that the demons, the unintelligent entity keeps over Starbucks in Ontario, California. And that's just as one example. Okay, the entity is engaging in the pattern of conduct, which you can recognize wherever you're at as well, where you're aware that the fact of the entity engaging in surveillance. All right, surveillance is relevant to what is the government. And the government is illegitimate where they're engaging in surveillance. They cannot be trusted. They're lying, and it will not any longer be what the government says, because it's the government. The government has demonstrated that it is not trustworthy, especially as you have police departments stalking American citizens and furtherance of murder and kidnapping. And it will put the people of the state right where they belong, in cages and in asylums. License 9SQW559, 8XDX556. License 9JBC135, where you have a population repeating what is a supernatural occurrence. That's a pattern of conduct. That's an irrebuttable pattern of conduct. Okay, I can't make that light fly off of their car, and the light's not flying off their car. It's the evidence of they are literally engaging what is testifying to, yes, I'm stalking you. 9SLP363. And they're all engaged in federal stalking, and it is prosecution of Starbucks, relevant to what is a RICO case for criminal activity, relevant to their profiting from gang stalking, and that is while they're in violation of Title 18, Section 22618, subsections 1 and 2, amongst many other federal laws, federal and state laws. 9NSH344 1465923, that's City of Ontario. And you'll see in the images uploaded to the Google Drive how the municipality is aiding in Starbucks' criminal conduct of surveillance with the people of the state, and it's including the business of Starbucks itself. They're centering their sales and what they're doing with regard to the sale of food and beverages around gang stalking. Literally, it's occurring simultaneously while they're engaging in that business, and that's a corrupt business. It's public corruption, and the City of Ontario, the people of the state, are surrounding, aiding in that. As you're recognizing the pattern with the light activity, the pattern under the fake sun and the engineer light. Literally, the customers are stalking with light while they're walking in and purchasing a drink. License AWBC 307 7LDR 436. It is currently, again, where the entity is stalking, and the fake sun is in motion over me in the direction south as I'm walking south, and it's not remaining over Starbucks, which would be the natural environment. There would be some evidence that they're not targeting if the sun maintains some level of consistency and not showing the evidence of targeting personalized movement and behavior of a sun, which is not the natural environment, and it's absurd, and it's direct evidence of criminal monitoring. 7ZAG042. The fake sun's remaining over me. 9TID447, and it's on the same block that it was as I captured it this morning at 6:30, 6:40 in the morning. It's on the same block. License 9EWB559. There's a whole other rest of the country, okay? The East Coast is 3 hours ahead of us, okay? The Central Time, they're 2 hours ahead of us. And when you're looking at what is the blatant engagement in an unintelligent system of targeting, there's no sun that's in Texas or in Minnesota or in Florida and New York while the entity is engaging in the idiotic and obvious manner of targeting an American citizen by keeping a fake sun over them. And these demons keep stalking day and night in helicopter every day. The Ontario police are being disbanded. 8ZKP907. And it is, again, Nathan Morgan, C. Torres, L. Martinez, and B. Hook, who are going to federal prison for the latest kidnapping that this entity engaged in. Starbucks that is gang stalking me is a part of the entity that engaged in kidnapping. That's also relevant to the RICO case against them. License 7SVK697. They are violating the laws, where as an entity, which I'm showing you the pattern of conduct, they are in violation of my rights to not be subject to a kidnapping while you're also keeping me under surveillance.
That's also relevant to prosecuting Starbucks for a RICO case, 9FDH734. I'm at 10:43 a.m. at D Street and Euclid Avenue. And the entity is keeping the fake sun over me at this U.S. bank. I'm at this U.S. bank at this intersection at various times. The entity is engaging in what is obvious surveillance. There's so many angles that you can look at my evidence and recognize the pattern of conduct. So many different angles. And I give you many examples of it. For example, one address, one venue, one location. Look at all the evidence I have at that location over the years as well. And I'm there at all times of the day, and you'll see the fake sun over me. That's just one example. Also, the sun can't be over two different counties in the manner that it is over my head when I'm reminding you about what LAPD is doing at the same time, and I'm at this same venue that I'm documenting. That's another angle of analysis, juxtaposing the crime scenes. P.O.C. It's currently 10:45 a.m. License 8ZMD151. Engaging in surveillance, crossing in path. License 9TFN977, a Latino male. It's 10:45 a.m. P.O.C. License plate 6YAP248. Gang stalking with the Ontario the Ontario Police, but that's Southwest Airlines that you'll see hovering where the fake sun is over me at C Street and Euclid, and 8TBP159. That's a heavy set Latino male. People of the state pacing as the plane activity proceeds. License 7PVZ260, 7KDG734, 7LLK705, 9SJS388, 31829K2. 9HOE633. This is what you're seeing at nightfall, where the entity stalking with impossible light, and the demons, who are the people of the state, are pacing while the state provides that light activity. 9NY. Oh, I can't see that. You express that one. License 9CWZ581, 8FYJ636, 6YGM766, RMVAL76, 9KTP416, Cintas 72071R2, a documented third party, very heavily documented. 8ZRT799, 8BLF991, 8YVY464. Remember, the entity is engaging in gang stalking by helicopter, by commercial planes, even by small planes like the one that flew over my head as I arrived at the TABOR Professional Building, and you saw the engineer light all over that TABOR Professional Building. That's what they're doing, stalking with impossible light under a fake sun. It's impossible that this would be the sun. It's impossible that this light creates multiple shadows and appears inside of buildings like it does at Starbucks. 7NXV892. It's impossible that while they're driving under the sun that I'm going to be hit with light inside of the Starbucks cafe. They're engaging in the same exact pattern of conduct you see at the TABOR Professional Building. While I'm at the Aegis, well, I'm not out there. I'm not an addict. But those demons that are at the Aegis Treatment Center, gang stalking while the entity is stalking with impossible light. So you're paying attention to the pattern. The entity is engaging in criminal summoning right now, in case you didn't hear that. The entity is targeting when they sound sirens. Those are demons exhibiting mental illness, while those are demons stalking with light. Stalking at a fire truck, they're going to be relieved of their duties. Stalking in police vehicles, that's obvious. The Ontario Police being disbanded. Stalking in ambulances, they're going to be relieved from their duties. Mentally unwell. License 9RMC363. The entity is engaging in the same P.O.C. The plane activity, and then the demons, who are the people that I'm documenting, 9APZ912, are pacing all around amongst the engineered light. It's the same P.O.C. during the day under the fake sun, and at nightfall in the same exact impossible light activity. Stalking with light, that's the role of the people of the state, and this is public corruption. Starbucks is being prosecuted. It's a RICO case against Starbucks. 8VYB779. Licensed with a red and white Colorado plate, stalking in front of Wells Fargo. At this same intersection, years of documentation of stalking under the fake sun. DOU013. Maintaining flashing light, just like the city of Ontario, just like FedEx. You'll see at Euclid and Holt, the entity is maintaining a large truck with light activity. That is DOU013. This is P.O.C. And the businesses are all stalking, monitoring, including Wells Fargo. All right, stalking with impossible light. License plate 75264U3. Alrighty, you will see the Latino group gang stalking with a Colorado plate. She's got 4 eyes. She's gang stalking with hazard lights, Engineered light on the ground while she drives away. License DOU013. She is indeed stalking me. Impossible light activity off of your car is not occurring as you drive under the sun, and it's not even the sun where she's stalking. Going into Wells Fargo's criminal engagement in that pattern of conduct. 9GVZ788. I also have evidence of the Ontario police flying in circles, stalking me under the fake sun, while Wells Fargo is the venue where the Ontario police fly in circles, stalking me. Wells Fargo is a long documented third party. Going into a facilitating venue, this is what Starbucks is supposed to be. The vantage point where you're looking at customers. No, you're looking at light activity, relevant positioning, and ongoing audible activity. Where the Ontario International Airport's flying over Wells Fargo, where the demon possessor is stalking with impossible light at the Wells Fargo, going in and out, which is pacing, crossing path. They're monitoring inside of the Wells Fargo. They're crossing path with me right now. That's gang stalking. And they're doing so centering around a business. That business will be prosecuted. All right, it's currently 10:52 a.m. 9M-ZK741. This is how you're prosecuting what is a RICO case against the entire state. This is RICO. It's public corruption. This is unprecedented public corruption. But the mayor is not just smuggling drug money. The mayor is engaged in criminal surveillance with the population. And it's a RICO case against the state. 9JHL200. Every single business in the state of California is engaging in federal stalking. Every single business. They're all engaged in surveillance. 9KXN408. The airport, the police department, the fire department, whatever businesses that they have, including on the venue of the internet where federal stalking is underway. Every business on the venue of the internet is engaged in surveillance. 6DFB703, including these social media sites. I'm documenting that. I'm subject to it. The entity stealing my evidence while simultaneously gang stalking and furtherance of murder and kidnapping. So they're going to steal the evidence that I'm publishing online. This is why Jason Fields and Tracy Banks are going to prison. It's just an absurd level of stupidity what they've done, and they're going to be accountable for all of it. 6YRM495, 7UBW541. And the fake sun remains over me step by step, not moving until I move, which is how you know that Wells Fargo is targeting. Establishments are going to be prosecuted, identified as stalking an American citizen while that specific environment stalks you. This is what the entity thought was so genius, while demons surround you in a way that they thought was never going to be provable. And it's occurring in plain view. They're standing out like they're walking around in the nudity. That's standing out like a sore thumb. All right, obviously. And it's obviously demonic as well. It's currently 10:53, where the fake sun is over me and not already present at 10 a.m. All right, and not present remaining over Starbucks either. And it certainly isn't in Los Angeles, where LAPD is already surrounded with an inevitable and irreconcilable, insurmountable body of evidence of targeting me, which is the state of California's P.O.C. It's 10:54 a.m. at 215 East C Street, and the school district of Montclair. Yeah, they're gang stalking. P.O.C. License 1630715. All right, this is currently 10:59 a.m. So this is the entity following from Starbucks into the bathroom at the OVITT Family Community Library, and you'll see the fake son speaking to the direct evidence of the sex offensive monitoring in a bathroom. This is the Ontario Police that's being disbanded, stalking me at the TABOR Professional Building, stalking me everywhere with the City of Ontario that's gang stalking with them, and stalking in bathrooms, which is a sex offense that no kidnapping police department is going to survive. They are being disbanded for being violent sex offenders. It's currently 11 a.m. at 215 East C Street under the fake sun that followed from Starbucks, and it remains on this same block where it's setting, which I documented upon my exit at 6 p.m., 5:59 p.m. on several occasions. This is P.O.C. This is the people of the state stalking with light, those psychopaths, those demons that are monitoring, following, and stalking in bathrooms. Very, very demented. P.O.C. All right, the entity gang stalking by the males in the male restroom and also the employees. They engage in surrounding while they're all worshiping my vagina together, gang stalking, maintaining the elements of monitoring and engineer light under the fake sun. This is at the first level where you'll see the fake sun in alignment through the elevator window, which is still there after 1 and 2 and 3 o'clock in the afternoon as well. This is P.O.C. Those are, again, stalkers, monitoring genitalia and private spaces, personal private activity, where the government has no legitimate interest to keep you under surveillance. Certainly not your genitalia. No warrant, no probable cause, no constitutional basis whatsoever for the unprecedented sexual violence that the state of California is practicing, that the Ontario police, that Mike LORENZ is practicing, monitoring my vagina, because that's exactly what this is, okay? Amplified audible activity, ongoing activity presence, and relevant positioning is how you're gang stalking in the bathroom.
The entity is doing so. It's 11:02 a.m. And that's, again, relevant to the sex laws that the entity that is gang stalking, including Starbucks, just as an example. The OVITT Family Community Library is the same city of Ontario. Yeah, the sex offender stalking in a bathroom. This is why Sean Thrasher is to be prosecuted with regard to the multiple acts of obstruction of justice while indeed monitoring genitalia. Okay, and then engaging in what is the pattern of conduct with the Ontario Police Department. Doing so under the fake sun. The kidnapping and all that P.O.C. in the specific environment documented. Okay, so what you have is pacing in and out of the bathroom. What they're doing under the fake sun on Euclid Avenue, what they're doing in Engineer Light inside of the Starbucks, what they're doing on the sidewalk while I'm walking to this venue is what they're doing in the bathroom, pacing. All right, it is currently, again, 11:02 a.m. This is P.O.C. All right, this is documentation of the entity stalking in the bathroom as one body after another, creating light activity, audible activity, and obsessively stalking me in the path and following everywhere, including into bathrooms. The demons that are monitoring, understand this is sexual violence that Tracy Banks is sharing in, that her sex partner, Jason Isaac Fields, are sharing in gang stalking me, and then doing so pursuant to the intent to steal property. Tracy Banks, as I'm documenting the entity gang stalking, including in bathrooms, she's going to prison, and so is her sex partner, Jason Isaac Fields. They're both sex offenders sharing in the practice of sexual violence by an entity that is gang stalking, and this is always pointing back to those who are at the forefront of incentivizing, motivating what is stealing property from me, that this entity that's targeting me sought to keep a secret from me and then wanted to falsely depict my character in order to steal that property. The entity is going to federal prison. This is documentation against Tracy Banks, license 98 U.C. 740. She's going to prison, and so is Tracy Banks' sex partner, Jason Isaac Fields. It is currently, again, 11:06 a.m. This is the perpetual sex offense, P.O.C.
Okay, demon stalking with light on F Street. I got 3 shadows. License 8SOF 645. Aiming light on me as I go to document that demon in that vehicle. All these demons on F Street. I walked down this street before and I walked through the parking lot and I documented many third parties over here, and they're still gang stalking. This is Ontario Police gang stalking. All right, license 9TUA 503, 8YZS 600, 722 EGW, 8JMT 729, 9KMP 104, 4XOK 979. 8TQP 862, and El Pescador is gang stalking. That's why I went through that parking lot. I read all those license plates the other night. They're monitoring while these demons are being cockroaches in the dark, stalking in their vehicles, all of them lighting up the moment that I walk up to the intersection where this demon is sitting at the corner in a white Honda. Wait, is this a Mitsubishi? This is a Honda. Stalking with light in the path. Aiming light in the direction. License 8SOF 645, Fresno State, gang stalker, African American male, gang stalking. It's currently 9:05 p.m. License plate 6YLX 594, 9LIW 285. All right, at 9:27 p.m., the people of the state gang stalking by aiming light. Stalking on G Street, where you can hear the people of the state patrolling, and they're patrolling, which is relevant to what the demon-possessed are actually doing. This is a mentally sick population practicing a targeting system together in a demonic environment and in demonic ways. And on G Street, at approximately 9:27 p.m., this is when I'm discovering that this demon, who was parked in front of the, illegally parked in order to aim light in my direction for a prolonged period, and upon my discovering, that is, with simultaneity to my noticing which the demon possessed are obsessively monitoring and stalking, this is when this third party with license plate 9CFU863 at 9:27 p.m. turns off their headlights while they're parked illegally in front of Woodside Senior Apartments. And this is, they're parked in the red, and they're sitting there parked, aiming light in my direction, monitoring in concert with the demons that are patrolling on G Street.
And the moment that I look up is when they turn their headlights off. They remain there, however. They remain there until I observe again at 10:21 p.m., where they are remaining there, and they're still monitoring while the people of the state are patrolling on G Street. And the entity is aiming engineered light, like you've seen all over the brick wall, like you've seen inside of Starbucks, like you've seen on the sidewalks and on the walls while I walk outside, including in the shade. This is what the demon possessed are doing. And this third party with license plate 9CFU863 remains in the path and monitoring pursuant to ongoing light activity, engineered light, impossible light activity, while he is still monitoring, engaging in surveillance for a prolonged period of time, which the people of the state are engaging in surveillance together. But this third party is engaging in surveillance by remaining loitering in relevant position for a prolonged period at the point that I notice at 9:27 p.m. and is still there, and at 10:21 p.m. again monitoring with the people of the state. That includes third party company LabCorp, LABCORP, and this third party appears to be a white male. And my observation occurs at 10:21 p.m., where this third party with license 9CFU863 is right next to them, parked illegally in the red, and LabCorp is in the driveway of the TABOR professional building. In engineered light, I've already documented the Ontario police gang stalking me, flying in circles over my head at that driveway. So they're in engineered light, using their vehicle, opening up the trunk, opening up the door, which is pacing, and light activity creation while the vehicle lights are on. So both parties are monitoring me. And the entity is engaging then at the moment, again, that I observe them. This is when this LabCorp, identified by LabCorp, because that's the logo on the vehicle, and that's the third party company that's engaging in surveillance, of a woman in furtherance of murder and kidnapping with the state. All right. And the moment, again, no coincidence, the moment that I observe them, this third party gets in their vehicle very rapidly and speeds off on this residential street. This is license plate. The LabCorp vehicle license plate is 8RXL751 is the third party that's parked on the red. So the LabCorp vehicle is license 9CFU863. Okay, so what I'm reciting about the third party parked illegally on the red curb as of 9:27, which is only when I observe them. Okay, they were sitting there stalking before I observed them. The moment that I observed them, then it's an old white male with a blue t-shirt on, sitting in the dark as I go and capture the license plates of these two parties engaging in surveillance together with the demons that are patrolling on G Street. The moment that I observe, this is when the third party turns his headlights off and he remains parked in the red, engaging in surveillance with the people of the state that are still providing impossible light while he's stalking in the path. That is, again, license 8RXL751. That's the correct license plate. The same actions that I just narrated, but the license plate are backwards. And then at 10:21 p.m., where this third party, this old white man wearing a blue t-shirt, wearing glasses, as I document, you'll see his face, or his face is illuminated. He's studying his communication device and engineer light, gang stalking me with the people of the state. And this is where LabCorp is observed at 10:21 p.m. LabCorp is in the driveway of the building that's in relevant position and going in and out of the trunk and the doors, which is light activity and pacing, while they are monitoring together. And again, that LabCorp vehicle is the license 9CFU863. And the moment that I observe LabCorp, immediately trunk, door, everything closed, and this demon speeds off. That's reasonably suggesting knowledge. This is an entity that's engaging in what is gang stalking, and they're stalking pursuant to what is monitoring. Monitoring is even more hovering conduct than stalking. A stalker does not necessarily know what you're doing in the bathroom. They're just following you to the bathroom. They don't know what you're doing when you are putting your hands in your pockets with your fingers. They just see you, observe you, put your hand in your pocket. Demons know your every physical movement while they're monitoring you. They are aware of what it is and what direction that you're going, and they are also
engaging in what is surrounding you as a group, both in front of you, behind you, whichever direction that you go, you're always surrounded. Stalking is not the same. The entities in traditional stalking, the entity is going to be prosecuted for stalking because you're necessarily following while you're monitoring as an entity. But understand that these are demons, and this demon knew it's not a coincidence in the engineer light. It's not a coincidence under the fake moon. By the way, the fake moon is over the same street, over the same building that it was as I documented it in the morning. All right, at the TABOR Professional Building, where I have documentation of the fake sun being over me at that TABOR Professional Building after 10 o'clock in the morning at 325 West G Street, which is just across the street. So that's the same location after 10 o'clock in the morning. Okay, the entity keeping the fake sun over that intersection where I'm at Fern and G Street. I've documented the fake sun setting in alignment to me inside of a vehicle in front of 630 North Fern Avenue. That's right there adjacent to 325 West G Street, which is facing the TABOR Professional Building. That's the same location. The entity is stalking with the fake sun, a fake moon, and the demon possessed know exactly what you're doing, including when you're moving your toes around in your foot. All right, when you are engaging in what is private activity inside of a private space, they're sex offenders of an unprecedented level that are engaging in surveillance, unprecedented surveillance. Okay, so this is relevant to, again, Ocean that is engaging in the pattern of conduct, for example, inside of Starbucks, a sex offender monitoring my vagina. And as I'm being molested with engineered light, this is what an entity is doing while they're molesting your person, which is a part of the pattern of conduct. It's the key part of the pattern of conduct because they're monitoring pursuant to this engineered light. That's the whole significance of a fake sun. And demons stalking, as you'll notice, heavily with the use of their headlights. It's not to see. It's because that's the guise, the superficial veil that the demon possessed rely on, but it is no explanation for the impossible light activity, which you notice when you pay attention. All I've done is shown you what is impossible to be the cause for this light that is surrounding both day under the fake sun and at night via headlights. All right. And in that environment, the entity is engaging in the demonic pattern of stalking with methods of flashing light. Very, very demonic. These are demons and they're mentally disturbed. They're mentally sick. This is mental illness that's being revealed. It's being uncloseted because it's threatening American people, the American people who don't know what they're surrounded by. You don't know the psychopath that is in your presence. You don't know the psychopath that lives next door to you, that you're letting into your home, that you are spending time with, that you're trusting, and that you're spending alone time with. You don't know that psychopath, and it's a threat to your life. Okay. Anyway, this is documentation of license 9CFU863. That's third party Lab Corp, and license 8RXL751. This pedophile who knows how many children he has molested while he's stalking a woman in the middle of the night, parked illegally. Okay, and doing so for a prolonged period from, again, 9:27, which is only the moment that I observed this demon, until 10:21 p.m. When I am documenting the prolonged period, the duration of time. And this is also not a coincidence. This is when this demon decides to drive away. Okay, this is the criminal conduct and the terrorism and the unlawful threat to your safety that the government poses when they are engaging in gang stalking you with the people of the state. Okay, the people of the state that are convicted rapists, convicted pedophiles, convicted child molesters, convicted sex traffickers, drug dealers, all manner of violent criminals that are engaging. And so is, I want you to be clear, the person that is an at-home mom who's coming into the Starbucks or driving by me on the TABOR at the TABOR Professional Building at nightfall, molesting my body with engineered light while she's gang stalking like every other maniacal psychopath. And what you are recognizing in that is that there is no distinction with regard to the threat of the demon possessed that are gang stalking. It's only this entity that has created a hierarchy amongst itself in order to condition your mind to look at certain things as threatening, look at certain things as dangerous, and don't look at other things as such. And that's a lie out of the pit of hell, because these demons are going in gang stalking with children, and what you are recognizing is that they're a threat to those children while they're engaging in psychological torture and gang stalking and furtherance of murder and kidnapping another person whom they also don't even personally know. They're demons. They murder people for no reason. They target people for absolutely no reason. That's actually what they're doing now, because they're not getting my property. Tracy Banks is going to federal prison. These demons are being disbanded of the Ontario Police. So now you're just gang stalking, facing full exposure. And the fact that you were stalking the entire time until the day that you were raided, until the day that you were on the news, you were stalking the entire time. That's what's going to be relevant with regard to what I'm exposing about the state of California, because they're not getting any of my property, and they're going to be exposed for what they've already stolen and what they attempted to do secretly, and then they just started doing it out in the open, because that's how psychopathic they are. It's currently still Friday, July 4th, actually, and I'm documenting, so I'm going to include this for the July 3rd podcast. And this is including updates to what is occurring at the TABOR Professional Building overnight, while the entity is gang stalking me from place to place. Again, another day of documenting the pattern of conduct where the government is engaged in criminal monitoring, which is pursuant to stalking, all right? It is currently, again, the entity that's gang stalking in the background. This is P.O.C.